What's going on, guys? Shady Mike back again this year with sliders for NBA 2K20. Now, first and foremost, if you're new to the channel, welcome, first and foremost. But what I do pretty much is I adjust the sliders for NBA 2K basketball games every year, try to make the gameplay as close to NBA basketball as possible, and fix any gameplay and statistical issues that we can with sliders. If you're not new here, you know the drill. The sliders are in the description and on 2K Share for PC players. If you don't want to hear me ramble, go ahead and just check those out. But other than that, thank you so much for the support, guys. Now, let me get right into it. 2K20, while it's had a hectic launch, had a huge patch a few days ago, and it fixed a lot, but the game's still not exactly where I wish it was. There are legacy issues that are, I would say, unfortunate. This is a sensitive topic for some people, but not me. I've never been worried about being politically correct, but I think it's ridiculous that they added the WNBA to the game, added a whole league. But there are legacy issues like turnovers and things of that nature that still haven't been fixed. The amount of shooting fouls you get in the game haven't been right probably since 2K16, and to me that's unfortunate. I think it was really a reckless way to spend development time and money, but that's just my views. I hope you don't look too deep into it. Now, going forward, let me talk about the things that I was trying most to fix with this slider set. Really, I broke it down into 5 major issues with the game. Now, number 1, ironically, this is my favorite part of the game, my favorite change from 2K19 to 2K20, but it's also one of the biggest problems, and that's shot blocking. The shot blocking animations, when they happen, when they trigger, they look incredible. However, on default, they happen a little bit too much. I was seeing anywhere from 10, really 8 to 12 blocks per game for both the user and the CPU, when the NBA average is really closer to 5, some of the better teams getting up near 6 or 7. So, you know, tuning down the blocks in my slider set was really one of the first things that I did, and I never looked back since I did it. Shot blockers are still shot blockers. If you attack bigs with short players and don't do it the right way, you still will get rejected at the rim, and that's just how I like it. Now, on to number 2, really important. I felt like the CPU just attacks the paint with a reckless abandon, just a crazy amount of shot attempts in the close and inside parts of the court, and not to mention they're finishing way too many of those opportunities in the paint. So my goal was, one, to help the CPU to stop attacking the paint, and I'll get into that a little bit later of how I did that, and also just tone down the percentages on offensive rebound putbacks, layups, and just the overall inside game. I know inside guys shoot higher percentages, but it's usually around 50, 60%, not 80, 90 that we see on default Hall of Fame. Whenever I'm making references to default, I'm talking about how the game plays on default Hall of Fame. I usually spend about 10 to 15 hours playing the game on default Hall of Fame to see what I do and don't like, and see what I do and don't want to change. So on to number 3, very important, and it coincides with number 2. The CPU deviates too much from play calling, causing a very erratic offensive attack, which often leads to too many points in the paint, random backdoor passes that you can't really stop. The way that I remedied this problem, or did my best to remedy the problem, is 1, by beefing up the user help defense, and 2, by actually turning the CPU offensive awareness to 0. What that does is, the offensive awareness slider a lot of times says, hey, do you notice this guy cutting open? And while it's impossible to stop guys from cutting to the rim, what this does is it won't make the CPU, while the CPU is still smart and they play like themselves as a player, they don't always make that pass into the paint. And it causes them to stick to their called play a lot more, and it causes the CPU to run a much more structured offense. Now, moving on to number 4, obvious, and I want to say this is more of an oversight by 2K, whether it's by an accident or they just don't care. The CPU simply doesn't shoot enough threes. That's the number one thing you have to address, and my slider set still didn't get me where I want in terms of CPU 3-point attempts, but it's better than default, I can tell you that. They will shoot it if they're open, and sometimes they'll shoot it even if they're not, or if you just had a good possession and played good defense. The NBA is you know, just the 3-ball has changed the NBA. It is the gold. Teams are drafting guys who can shoot the 3-ball. They don't care if they can do anything else. So teams are shooting, most teams in the league are shooting over 30 3-point shots a game, with a few teams in the mid to low 20s. Now, I wish that was represented in default 2K gameplay, but it's not. So we have to kind of take that challenge on ourselves. And I think as you guys play the game, you'll notice that I did a pretty decent job with that. I felt like, you know, really I did the best that I could, but in future versions, we'll look to make those those teams even more aggressive with the 3-point shot. Going forward to number 5, very consistent thing for me. I do it every year. Contested shots. This is more of a, I don't know what the word is. I guess not philosophical, but it's more so I disagree with the way 2K thinks about contesting jump shots. I think that they kind of keep the online play in mind, and really they've got the 2K community, this online community, brainwashed in that if you contest a shot, or if you put a hand up in a shot, on a shot, that's good defense. And people that play basketball, really know basketball, and quite frankly really watch basketball, know that that's not the case. I always say the presence of a defender does not equal good defense. Ask Kevin Durant, ask guys that can shoot over people. Now, yes, you're probably saying, hey, Mike, you know, most people aren't Kevin Durant. I understand that, but watch, you know, when you watch NBA basketball, look at most mid-range jump shots. Look at most fadeaways. Some of the best, you know, yes, you know, you want the offense to work to get you open looks, but most jump shots, you know, that aren't open threes, which you always want to look to get, but most jump shots that are attempted are either moving off the dribble, and they're usually contested. And I think that 2K's made it way too easy to force misses, and they kind of nerf players and teams that focus on getting jump shots. There aren't many, but I think of the Klay Thompsons of the world, the Jason Tatums of the world, even sometimes the Jimmy Butlers of the world that like to get those, you know, jump shots going, and it's a go-to. Heck, we've even seen it from James Harden in the past, especially down the stretch in playoff games. So I wanted to just kind of tone down the shot contesting. Just because you get a hand up on a guy doesn't mean he'll miss that shot 100% of the time. Obviously, I still want it to be where open shots go in more than contested ones, but I've balanced that out a lot. And that's pretty much it so far going forward. Obviously, with field goal percentages and just overall logic, those are the things I wanted to accomplish with this set. I would say a few honorable mentions that I haven't got to, but are planned for, for me to touch in future versions. Obviously, I would like more turnovers. The problem with 2K is there aren't any unforced turnovers. This is what we talk about when we talk about legacy issues. Now, yes, you can bump up steals, but the NBA average of steals is really only about 8 per game. The NBA average of turnovers is close to 16. So that means there should be 8 or so unforced turnovers every game, and that simply doesn't happen in 2K. So that's something I'd like to address, but I just don't know how possible that is with sliders. Also, as I touched on a little bit before, shooting fouls, I don't think they'll ever be where they need to be unless 2K drastically steps in and overhauls their system. The problem with the shooting fouls are that you can only get called on a foul if you're driving to the basket. There's no pump fake, get the guy in the air, jump into him type of fouls. I've seen it done, but it's so rare, it's so impossible in the game that it's not even worth mentioning. Maybe you'll see it once every 10 games. And then there's no fouls on jump shots at all. Let me check. I actually want to pull my Steam library up just so I can check. Yes, so 2K's been out for what, 2 weeks now? I have 104 hours played. I have never seen a foul called on a jump shot. And if you watch basketball, again, it's a very common occurrence in NBA basketball that 2K just it does not reflect and doesn't seem to be interested in reflecting. Now, going forward, I just wanted to show you guys some of the settings of the slider set. If you have hung out this long throughout the video, I appreciate you. For the slider set, I do use real shooting percentage because I believe it's the most realistic representation of NBA basketball. Obviously, it's not the most skill-based thing in the world. People love the shot meter. That's good for you if you like that. That's just not really my cup of tea. Never has been. Just that kind of distracts me from watching the game and playing it the way that I want to play it. With real shooting percentage, the ratings are the most important thing that matters, and that's how I like my game to be played. A lot of people ask me all the time, what camera do I run? This camera is broadcast generic zoom 1 height 4 with key zoom turned off. A lot of times I tell people it's broadcast generic zoom 1 height 4. They're like, no, mine doesn't look like that. You have to turn key zoom off, because if you don't, it's not going to look like that. Through a lot of my gameplay, you'll see that I do, some of my players look different. Some of my courts look a little bit more updated. My colors may be a little bit better. I do have a whole bunch of mods installed for 2K20. I will make a separate video on that, later on. And so this slider set is the beta version of my sliders. This is all of my findings from the first 2 weeks of playing 2K20. That's kind of just me putting them together and giving you guys something to start with, just a kind of a template to say. Now, if you do follow me on Twitter, shameless plug, follow me on Twitter at Shady Mike Gaming. That's where I do most of my updating, most of my talking sports, making jokes and things of that nature. I do, one thing that's very important to know is there will be a pretty big delay in the official version of the slider set. I won't be posting for a while until I get settled. I did accept a job offer. I'm going to be relocating and moving from New Jersey to Atlanta, so there will be a period of time when I don't have my computer. I won't be able to play, I won't be able to test. If there is an absence, with me going forward, that's just me getting acclimated to a new city, the new job, meeting new people. You know what I mean? But I did get a bigger place than I had before. And so I am actually going to have a studio now, so that's going to be very exciting. Who knows, maybe I'll do like a vlog and show you guys my PC setup that way. But that, stay tuned for that. But I did want to let you guys know, if there is a period of time over the next several weeks, I'll say over the next month or so, that I'm not as active, that's what it's about. However, I just want to say that this slider set that I left you guys with, I'm having a blast with. I am enjoying 2K20. I gotta be honest, I hit on most of the legacy issues that are in the game. And I don't want to say buy the game or don't buy the game, but if you're still on the fence and want to decide whether or not to buy the game, watch my gameplay. You know, see if there's things that you like, see if there's things that would bother you, because the legacy issues that I've talked about are still there. However, I have been able to find a way to enjoy the game somewhat. However, when other games like Call of Duty come out, I will be playing those on the channel too. So I just wanted to keep you guys updated. Enjoy the sliders. Also, these are posted on NLSC. If you want to leave feedback, you can hit me there. You can hit me here. You can hit me on Twitter. I'm going to be, when I get everything set up, I'm going to be streaming on Mixer as well. But other than that, guys, take care. Enjoy. Shady out.